everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Heart Podcast with Sandra J. Horton, the Growth Catalyst. Hello, everyone. It is an amazing day today. I get to come live on International Podcast Day. My name is Sandra Horton, and I'm a business success coach. But I want to honor this moment here in Canada before I begin anything. Today is our Truth and Reconciliation Day in Canada, where we acknowledge the lands in which we reside. I reside on the unceded and traditional territories of the Coquitlam First Nations here in the Tri-Cities. I will invite all of us to take this moment to honor those of our family and friends, our Indigenous brothers and sisters around the globe, respecting and honoring those who through no reasons were taken from their family and homes, but through truth and reconciliation, we can change. So I temper, but yet bring the positivity and the hope that we will ignite hearts, that we will transform so much, because within each and every one of us is true potential. So I wear this beautiful First Nations, beautiful shawl in acknowledgement of that. I wear the orange to represent the children that were lost that didn't come home. So with this beautiful moment of acknowledgement and observation of self, please take the moment to write down where you come from and have gratitude and blessings and commit to ourselves to change, to be inclusive, to open our hearts. So today, the conversation is with someone who I dearly respect, someone who is transforming lives on the Leadership Heart Podcast. So stay tuned, because you're going to want to listen to this beautiful soul. I am going to bring up Sarah Lovely. Sarah, thank you. Welcome to the Leadership Heart Podcast, for allowing this space for us to come together to celebrate our heart, our leadership in a way that's going to ignite so many different people now, live, or on this podcast when it's broadcast on Apple and Spotify and across all platforms. Sarah, you have been doing some exceptional work. You are a mentor, you are a leader, an international leader of a team in the network marketing space. You've accomplished a lot and you touch so many beautiful lives. So I thank you for being here today. Thank you. Thank you. So let's create this beautiful space and place right now to dive in and allow my audience to learn about you, learn about your journey, and to share your beautiful wisdom, because there's so much wisdom. And we share many stories actually of similar life paths. So, I love to begin at the beginning, as I always do, in conscious leadership. It's around for us to learn, to live, and to lead. So what has led you to this beautiful moment of abundance, of happiness, of being an amazing leader? So let's kind of dive into your beautiful story. And I'm awakening to this moment. I really feel that something special is going to happen today. I really do. So Sarah, share with us what has led you to become who you are. Over to you, Sarah.
Wow, Sandra. I'm in the waiting room listening to your opening and your beautiful words. And of course, I started to tear up. So thank you for that. So I'm pop up here. I'm already crying just because of everything you said. So beautiful, and the acknowledgement and reconciliation. And just touched my heart. And then in your introduction, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. You said something there, a word that actually I have been recently adding into my morning. I have a morning routine. I have a morning mindset routine that I have held near and dear to my heart for 4 years, four and a half years. Not that I'm counting, right? You can tell
We don't count anymore, Sarah.
how badly I needed it when I started it, because I know it was 4.5 years ago. But recently, something came to me during one of these morning practices, and that was the word transformation. And I thought, yeah, I don't want to just motivate people or inspire people. I want to play a role in women's transformation. And when I said that out loud in my meditation, it was almost scary, almost like,
You said the words.
Take it back and take it back. And who am I to think that I can? Who am I to think that I can? And that I had that moment. I just got little goosebumps right now. This was just a couple days ago. And I thought, no, you want to transform lives? You go, girl.
Yeah.
And you literally just introduced me as someone who, and you use the word transforms. And so there are no coincidences how you and I met. And I thank you for using that word, because just the other morning I put it out to the universe, and I almost took it back, but I didn't. And truly, my mission is to help transform women's lives, enrich them, and help make them better, and whatever better is to that individual. And so when you ask what led me here today, it really was the need to transform my own life.
Right. So starting within is what I'm hearing. It began with that moment of, I need to transform me. I need to make that choice. Powerful.
And the first time I remember knowing that, my first baby was 3 years old, toddler on my lap. He's turning 30. So I remember the moment in time like it was 1 second ago that I knew I needed to make some changes in my life so that I could be a better mom and keep him home with me versus go to a 9 to 5 job that I didn't like, because I literally have no high school education. I didn't graduate high school. I've got some post-secondary education since then, but I didn't have a career. I didn't have the ability to go get a good job that I loved. So I was working just to pay the bills and the daycare.
Wow.
So when I realized there was a vehicle called network marketing, and this was 27 years ago, I knew I needed to make some changes. I didn't know what the journey, I didn't know what was in store.
And that's the beautiful thing, Sarah, is throughout our journey, there can be these moments where we don't know, but yet we can purposely, with intention, redirect and make new choices, right? Like to be able to say, hey, wow, I don't want to have a 9 to 5 job. I want to have a pursuit or something even more meaningful. So you're starting to feel this. And for many women and men, of course, as well, but being, a provider, having kids, that inner, I kind of call it a restlessness that I just don't want to settle. I want something more. Is that kind of where you found it? That's what happened to me. And it also came to me when I was going through, I had a number of divorces that showed up. So in those moments, let's go back into that. So you're in this space and place where you're feeling these moments. I don't want to be in a 9 to 5. I want to look for something else. So what else were you thinking? What can we share? What were those moments like that you just kind of clicked? I just said, I need to go this way.
And that's such a great question. There are so many of those moments. And actually, as I'm listening to, I'm like, I still have them all the time.
Mm,
Right?
powerful.
I can look back 27 and I'm like, oh, I want to move forward. Today,
Yeah.
okay, I want the next level. I want the next level. I want the next level so I can reach more people. I can help more people.
Right.
It was 18 months ago that I put it out to the universe. I want to be on some podcasts. I want to reach more people. This is a vision board moment right here that you're providing for me, Sandra, is that
Aw.
I wanted to be able to do this. So when we go back, if I go back to that 20, that young single mom, I was single mom for the first time.
Yeah.
I've got a couple divorces behind me as well, and I was a single mom for a second time.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm. I'm good now. I'm
I'm
good.
on 3. There you go.
Whoop, whoop. But I knew your question is, what were those moments where I went, aha, I need to do that. Aha, I need to
Yeah.
do that. Well, the
Yeah.
first one was I knew that there was somehow, I knew 100% that the vehicle of network marketing was going to help me get to where I wanted to get. I didn't know what that looked like. And it
Mhm.
turned into be a long journey. And in fact, many times thought I should quit, thought I should give up, started to feel like, even though I was having success, I was having some success for sure. And that was a long time ago. I want to clarify, I became a network marketing professional 12 years ago,
Right.
meaning I took it on full time and I decided to become coachable and I decided to learn the business properly. That was
Mm.
12 years ago, a little bit after that toddler was on my lap. Fast forward, right? So he'd grown up a
Right.
little bit, and I
Right.
decided to take it seriously. And it was divorce number 2 that got me to really take a look. It was
I can
divorce number
understand
2
that.
that okay, are you going to do this?
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to play around? Because until then, I was just playing around. I was just hoping to get lucky. I was just hoping to get a break. I was
Mhm.
doing a little bit of the work, but I wasn't really all that coachable. I thought I knew better. I thought I knew better ways. I would kind of half measure it.
Mm.
I would half measures availed us nothing, right?
I
So
think that's powerful, Sarah. I wanna just land there for a
sure.
moment because wherever you are as audience members, I want you to ask yourself, where are you at in your journey? Are you fully committed to your path? Or perhaps you're only playing half in, half out? Because that's a powerful place, Sarah, to awaken through your journey. And your journey, your triggers, your impetus to change was through living through divorce. Maybe perhaps for others, it could be a different set of circumstances. In those moments, and I can share as well, like in my moments, I've gone through 2 different divorces. One was chosen for me, the other I chose, which is a different set of circumstances. We're waking up. We're choosing our leadership. We're choosing how we want to lead ourselves and the little ones that are coming with us on this journey. So, how did you, and I'd love for you to share, what did you do to reprogram or build new habits that helped you move yourself and your leadership forward? Like, what did you do? How did you become this unstoppable, powerful, inspiring woman that you are? So, what in those moments, what did you do? Because I think these are powerful leadership lessons that we can learn.
I love this question, and the answer is not really very exciting. I wish it was sexier, but
That's
it
okay. I love it.
isn't. The outcome of these changes is very exciting and
Yeah,
very sexy and really juicy.
I
But
can see.
getting there is often ucky and ew and a little bit mundane.
Yeah.
And so what happened, and this happens all the time. I'm in the process right now of creating some new habits.
Mm,
But if I go back to where I was really in the beginning of this, because I think that's important for listeners. I don't want to talk about how I create a new habit now because I've gotten pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So why? Because I decided to discipline myself. So habits start with discipline. Let's take exercise for an example. So if I want to exercise and have nicer arms, right, for the summer.
Nice arms there, girl. Love
I'm
it.
working on them. If I
Oh, that's really
that
cute.
part up. That part doesn't like to follow at 55. If I want nicer arms, I'm going to have to lift some weights and regularly. And so then I say to myself, okay, I'm going to do that for 30 days. I'm going to do this for 30 days. I'm going to hire a personal trainer. I'm going to lift these weights. I'm going to do the program 5 days a week. I'm going to do this. Okay, that's all well and fine. That's a great plan. Now you've got a plan.
Yep.
The next step is to show up in the gym to meet your personal trainer on Monday at 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where the rubber hits the road. That is where am I going to get in my car and go meet my trainer? Or am I going to say my throat is sore? Or am I going to actually manifest a flat tire? Because I can do that. If I don't want to do something badly enough, I can get myself a flat tire and get out of it.
True.
Is there going to be traffic? Is there something going to happen, right? So, and one thing I will say is when we are starting to create new habits, you will be shocked at the things that come your way to throw you off track. So I've learned this. So I got a plan. I'm really good at making plans.
I love it.
Good plan.
That's good.
Really good plan.
They're juicy, good plans.
Juicy, good plan. It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
And then I have to go meet my trainer at the gym at 9 a.m. And am I going to go from my house to the gym? It's not that hard, but am I going to do it? And that takes discipline. Enough discipline will create a habit. Yeah. So then my question is, how do you make the discipline? If discipline is the key, how do you make that happen? And you know what? I have investigated that. I have looked at that. I have tested it. I have tracked it. I have measured it. I have tried to figure out. And here's all I can come up with. You just have to want it bad enough to dang well go. Lead blocks on your feet, flat tire, traffic, get out and walk, leave your car there. You have to become unstoppable and you have to be willing to do anything it takes to get to that place on day 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to create a habit. Because once you have a habit, now this thing that tortured you becomes a joy. Would you like it to be a joy or torture? Would you like to be consistent and get that nice gun show going on? Or would you like to fail nonstop? There's no such thing as failure if we're learning and growing from it. So discipline is the key. And as far as I can tell, the only way to get through that is uncomfortably for a little bit of time. And now I have a hot tip.
Like hot tips.
A quick hot tip. I'm doing it right now. If you can't get to that gym, you keep canceling. You pay the money and you still cancel. Ever done that?
Yeah.
Someone says to me, "Oh, just pay your trainer in advance. You'll go."
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. Maybe it helps, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
So here's a hot tip. Take something that you do. I'm going to use this as an example.
Yeah.
I'm going to use an even easier example. If you sleep on the left side of the bed, start sleeping on the right. Change it. Here's a thing I'm doing right now. I watch Netflix almost every night for 30 to 60 minutes. Really into documentaries lately.
Cool.
Call it educating myself. It's okay if I'm watching
Learning's important. Learning is important.
I'm educating myself. But it's this really nighttime habit. I look forward to it. It's a reward. And I don't have any vices. It's nothing wrong with it. 100 of my friends would say, "You go, girl, you deserve that. You should do that," right? But I'm on day 7 of no Netflix. You know why? Because I want to practice the art of discipline.
Mm.
And so if you practice on something that you can do, I'm going to get up on the left side instead of the right. I'm going to put my left shoe on, but I'm going to walk this way instead of that way. If you choose a area that is simple, Netflix, not too hard for me, but I have to say, I knew it would be a little bit hard. I'm doing 30 days, no Netflix. It's 8 o'clock and I'm walking around going,
Your brain is starting to think, hey.
Netflix, and I could cheat, nobody
Mm,
would know, but I'm doing it on purpose
yeah.
because if I can't do that, then I'm not going to be able to do the discipline for the big habits that are really going to change my life. So I keep
Mhm.
I sharpen my axe all the time in the discipline creating arena so that when I need to make bigger changes and create huge habits that are going to help me transform other people's lives, I've got some momentum. I know how to do it. I know it's going to be uncomfortable for a few, and then I know I know how it goes. So start
Mm.
on something small so that then you can move up to the bigger things.
Oh, these are just brilliant, brilliant tips and strategies that work.
Yeah.
And I know you have this background. I know it's not in your like your current world, but I mean, you are, a former. You can share because I think you have the expertise. Please share what kind of your bit of your background in terms of that excellence, in terms of habits and health, particularly, and why those examples you just gave. So can you just let the viewing audience understand that little bit of your background? Because you know how to do this because you do this with people or you did that formerly in your life.
So just to be clear, are you talking about the health issue?
Y Well, you know what? This is interesting because you're
I'm
not
like,
only you're a former health coach, but you also have gone through some significant health concerns, and I think,
okay.
for many of us leaders, our life is a journey, and if we don't listen and wake up and really pay attention, so we're gonna go on a little bit of a journey here, everyone, because this is a powerful, powerful share. And I'm gonna jump in on this too because I also have been through this journey. In that moment of awakening, we look at ourselves, we have this thinking, we have a way of kind of being pre-programmed, we're busy, we've gone through these experiences in our life that have created the opportunity to grow and to learn, but until we wake up to that, perhaps we thought or saw it happening to us. And through that divorce, we've kept so much, or divorces have kept things inside ourselves. And what happens, Sarah, when we do that?
Yeah, we get sick.
We get sick. So let's share that story.
Okay, so I'm so glad we're talking about this. And this is a pivot, but not
Mhm.
pivot,
It's
but
true.
not.
Yeah.
And honestly, my honor to share this story. I'm very open about this part of my life. And so, uh, 3.5 years ago, I it was the middle of the late morning, middle of the week, and I was so exhausted at 10 a.m. I couldn't
Mhm.
keep my eyes open. And I did what I did almost every day, 4, 5, 6 days a week. I got undressed. I put my pajamas on. On a sunny day, I closed my curtains and I crawled into bed for what I knew would be a 1 to 3 hour nap while I'm trying to build in my business and transform other women's lives. I'm
Mhm.
crawling into bed in my pajamas in the late morning. And closing the curtains. And I put my head on the pillow and I just had tears streaming down because you can't live that way. I knew I was missing so much of my
Mhm.
potential and I was missing so much of life. And this had been how I lived for years and years and years. I had been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. So this was my chronic fatigue syndrome. But here's what happened on that day. Here's where the story's going to twist, and it's going to sound a little weird at first. I lay down, and my arm brushed my breast.
Mhm.
And I had breast implants, and I'd had them for 17 years. And as the tears were streaming down, and I was crawling in, and my sweet husband was saying, "It's okay. You go to sleep. I got this. I got this. I got this.
Mhm.
Go to sleep. Let's close the curtains. We're going to be quiet. You're going to sleep." And I looked at him and I said, "I can't live this way." And then my arm hit my breast And I shot up out of bed and I screamed at the top of my lungs and I said, my breast implants are making me sick.
Yes.
I have goosebumps on my whole body, including the top of my scalp right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can relate. I can relate.
And he came in the room and he said, what's going on? And I said,
Yeah.
it's my implants. Fast forward, they're now gone. They're out. I knew in that instant that the implants that I had in my body for 17 years had caused a plethora of health issues. This was just the worst one, chronic fatigue. I lost a lot of my children's lives for fatigue. I couldn't be a mommy driver on a field trip if it was long highway driving past 10 a.m. because I would fall asleep. So I had to lie to the other moms that I couldn't drive. It just goes on and on and on. And I called the surgeon's office. I hadn't called them in like 17 years. Same receptionist. She actually remembered me. I was hysterical. And I said, I got to come in. I got to come in. And she said, have they exploded? I said, no, but they're killing me. And she's like, and then you could hear her voice. She's like, oh, she's one of the crazies. Right. And I got
But
in.
you're not crazy though.
No,
You're not crazy.
not crazy. Turns out I was right. What do you know?
Yes. And
And you
you know, Sarah, I just gonna stop there for a moment for a pause, because this
pauses
is
are good.
powerful and why this is meaningful in a Leadership Heart podcast. You know, we were talking about our journey. We're talking about how you've come to be this amazing woman. You've achieved. You are an achiever. You're heart-led. You're doing all these amazing things. However, within you, in you was this inside these implants. I can speak the truth too, because I had very similar experience. I had mine for over 12 years. I developed anaphylactic reactions. I had mine out last October, and it was the best decision. The reason we're saying and sharing this now in a Leadership Heart podcast is because women, and I'm going to speak to the women out there, we're so good at multitasking, so good at being on, so good at going and doing and achieving and living our lives and overcoming and resisting and overcoming and building resilience. I mean, we neglect the signs, those signals within ourselves until our health is compromised. So let's dive into why we got those darn damn implants in the first place. Because I would say for me, it was because I was getting ready for my second marriage. I wanted to look good. You know, I'm leading, I'm doing great, but I want to look good.
Yeah.
And then the choice to finally get rid of them, and I feel great now. But I didn't really need them. So Sarah, share with us, share with our viewers, why did you do that in the first place? Are there any lessons
Oh,
in that?
yeah. Yeah. And one of the things as I went on this journey of removing them, and mine actually it turned out, coincidence or not, mine were actually the brand that were recalled by the FDA. So when I went in to see my surgeon and I said, hey, I want to get these out, I acted as normal as I could. I didn't want to be a hysterical, because you got to be careful. The person who's going to help you get them out of your body, I wanted him to like me. So I just went in and I said, I think I'm done. 17 years. I'm 52 now. At the time, I'm 55 now. I feel like, let's remove. And he said, oh, you got the letter? And I said, what letter?
Yeah.
Anyway, turns out they were recalled by the FDA because they were causing, and still are. I mean, so many women have them removed now, but a type of cancer called breast implant associated anaphylactic large cell lymphoma. So a type of cancer only related to these breast implants. You can't have this type of cancer if you don't have that brand of breast implant.
Right.
So that what made the decision easy. I said, perfect. I didn't get the letter, but let's book it. Let's get them out. But
Let's go.
coming back to your question, which is so powerful, and my journey from that moment in the bedroom on that sunny afternoon on a Wednesday when I knew instantly that my implants were making me sick,
Mm-hmm.
to having them removed, supporting women, being on global news a couple of times, and spreading awareness. One of the first things I had to do was forgive the younger version of myself that
Mm-hmm.
felt that they were going to save my life.
Mm-hmm. True.
And they did at that time. I had severe, you know what? Actually, it has nothing to do with breastfeeding. I used that was the excuse I used. They were
Mm.
damaged. They were like, blown up balloons. They
Us
were
women's
like
stories that we tell. Yeah.
tennis balls. I mean, I couldn't blah, 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 right there. I could tell you some funny stories about what my breasts were like before, but here's the truth. I didn't love myself enough to just accept and carry on. And I
Mm.
actually remember the night before surgery to have them put in. I was in the grocery store lineup and I had to leave because I couldn't stop crying because all I could hear was a voice in my head saying, "They fed your babies. They're for feeding babies."
Wow.
You're okay, sister. Don't do it. This will be the biggest mistake of your life. And I I had to stuff my instincts and my inner wisdom so deep so that I could carry on with having them put in my body. And
Mm-hmm.
almost immediately I started getting sick.
Wow.
Almost immediately post implantation. I had Graves' disease, rheumatoid arthritis, the fatigue was just one.
Yeah.
I lost a good chunk of 17 years from so many health issues. My
Mm-hmm.
kids didn't know me not napping. My children would say, "Shh," after school. My children's friends would say, "Shh, your mom might be napping."
Wow. Wow.
So
That's
I
powerful.
I got them because I didn't love myself enough, and we could do
Mm.
another whole talk on
I was gonna say we could go right into that one.
because I am not a victim, but I will tell you something.
Mm.
Society and magazines and how my mother was raised and the things my mother said and the
Yeah.
things her
True.
sister said and the things I saw and media and all of that. There is a bit of brainwashing going on for women that you got to be one tough cookie to
Yeah.
bypass it. So if you have any low self-esteem issues and any vanity issues and anything like that, and there's an offer to fix it, you're going to go against your instincts, right? And so I went against my instincts so that I could like myself, and I suffered for 17 years as a result of
Wow.
it. And it affected my business.
And I think that's the key piece here, and I know for, it's good to raise the awareness and, as we're coming to the close of our podcast, I wanna, again, kinda loop that back into leaders and how and what we can do differently to be aware, to be open to ourselves, as I always say, to learn, to live, and then to lead. And so could you give maybe 3 great tips around the opening up, the self-awareness that as a leader you are today in sharing and being that mentor with other younger women and men, of course, but particularly the women out there who, are driven, who are moving forward, who are, tackling front hand, like doing great in this world. How can they learn to listen to themselves, to tap into that wisdom? As I always say, the heart signals your heart to your mind, to a higher power consciousness, so that they don't last too long. They listen to themselves so they can lead with heart, with authenticity.
I love your questions.
Oh, thank you.
I do. I love your questions. So, 3 tips to what we can do to listen to ourselves
Mm.
better so that we can serve more people,
Mhm.
expand ourselves more and
Mhm.
faster.
Yeah.
And so, you know what's really interesting, and I'm kind of just really putting this puzzle piece together right here, right now. So this is
Love
what
it.
this is what it looks like when
Love it.
penny drop, penny drop, penny. But when you and I were chatting before the show went live, I
Mhm.
mentioned to you that 4.5 years ago, I started a very serious and dedicated morning mindset growth routine. 4.5 years ago. 3.5 years ago, I knew to get my implants out.
Mm.
Hmm. So I'm going to say tip number one. Anybody want to guess? I really believe that it is absolutely crucial and I feel like I can contribute everything good in my life right now to my willingness to create a discipline habit
Yes.
of pouring into my mindset. And personal growth is such a big umbrella.
Yeah.
This has morphed for me over 4.5 years. I mean, we don't have enough time to talk about all the things I've done. Personal growth, mindset,
Mm.
meditation, visualization, spirituality, prayer, reading, breathing, whatever it might be. I have absolutely created an intense discipline 4.5 years ago because my life was a disaster and I was on my knees and I needed something to change. And that's what I knew I needed to do. And I started the next morning from being on my knees in the bathroom crying, saying, please, 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 was the solution, was the solution. And the solution was get a morning routine.
There you go.
Before you do this, before you do this. And I said, okay. And I started it the next day, and that was 4.5 years ago. And I can contribute everything good in my life to that right now. And so what I do is I do anywhere from on a weekday, a week meaning WEAK. On a weekday, I'm going to do 15 minutes. And there have been periods of time where I've done 3 hours. So when I did the 3 hours, that meant I got up at 4 a.m. So I decided to discipline myself to get up at 4 a.m. for 8 weeks last summer so that I could increase the love and growth that I poured into myself before my day started. And what I realized, and I heard someone say it and it hit me hard. And this was probably about 6 years ago. She said this, and then it was 4.5 years, 2.5 years after that. But she said, if you roll out of bed and you go straight to this, you are telling the universe that other people's lives, not even real half the time,
Yeah.
matter more than your peace of mind, matter more than you matter to yourself.
True.
And so that hit me, and I've only veered off track from that a little bit. So that's tip number 1, 2, and 3. Really.
And you know what? That is so beautiful, Sarah. I know we have to wrap up now, but it is the power of the mind and not allowing ourselves, and this is what, my passion is to really ignite the flame of self-love within. That's part of it, and then I help leaders and organizations scale, but it starts with that inner drive, that flame, the commitment to ourselves, listening, leaning in, and knowing we are not our past. We can recreate it. So whatever you have done, whatever has happened for you as a learning. So begin today. I always say this, begin today with gratitude. That's how I begin every morning. My beautiful mentor, Rex Sykes, has been absolutely wonderful and instrumental in informing me around the directed questions because our brain is a solution-oriented mind. And I've brought this into the work that I'm doing 1,000%. like what you said, Sarah, the importance of being disciplined, seeking, asking, directing, and then releasing and allowing for it to come forward. I would like for you in our closing moments to let the viewers know how can they reach you, because you have done so much beautiful work. You've got these great new programs and things that are coming out for people to connect to you. So can you share that now? Thank
I
you.
can. And I'm going to give tip number 2, actually,
Sure.
start messy. Start messy.
Okay.
Don't I start messy.
I love it.
Whatever the start is, whatever you're doing,
Do it.
do it messy. There isn't actually, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There's not really another way to start, because if it's new to you, you're going to be messy.
Correct.
So
Messy.
to not be
Let's
willing
get
to start
messy.
messy is the same as not willing to start at all.
True.
Yeah. So start messy.
Love it.
You can reach me on Facebook. You guys, I'm Sarah Lovely. I am on Facebook. That is my platform. I have got some amazing freebies that I've just created to share with network marketers who want to take it to the next level. And that level can be from, I'm doing this, but I'm not winning at all, right? Like, next level doesn't mean like an empire and a huge legacy and millionaire on a stage. Next level is whatever it is for you. So I've got these great freebies that I'm giving out, and sharing with people to help them really, scale their business. Like you said, I love helping people scale
Mhm.
their business while I'm scaling my business. So you can find me on Facebook.
Oh, I love that, and I thank you. You know, the greatest gift that you gave my audience today is that you really focused on the message of your story, the transformation, the gifts of how to do that, some beautiful tidbits and strategies and techniques to truly help people transform. And that's what the Leadership Heart podcast is truly all about. It's connecting, and it's about leadership and raising our consciousness to live our lives abundantly and in purpose with intentionality, because truly we are infinite possibilities. There's so much that's here. So I'm going to champion all of you to look deep within you. What are those things that are showing up? How are you living your life? Are you living that life that you truly believe is possible? And if not, then make the moment to stop, breathe, and make a new choice. It's within you. You are beautifully resourceful. And again, today we've heard from a beautiful leader who has shared her story, which I share many things with. And anything is truly possible. So thank you for your beautifulness. Thank you, Sarah. Please, everyone, take time. I look forward to next Friday with my next beautiful guest who will ignite your heart, who will share their leadership tips and strategies, but always, always connect to your heart, to your mind, to that higher calling and consciousness, whatever that is for you, because we have so much possibility every moment. So I'm going to end it now with our beautiful outro. And Sarah, I'll catch you on the other side. Thank you so much,
Thank you
everyone.
for having me.
Gratitude. Thank you so much, Sarah. And you can reach me at www.sandrahorton.com. And this beautiful recording will be on Apple and Spotify in a few days. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Bye for now.